Good morning. Our corn is growing. Look at this. Over my head already. Okay. Wow. That's good. I came up here to check on this corn. This is our irrigated field with the rain somewhere over there-ish. I don't know. Wanted to see how wet it was up here. We had some rain over the weekend. We got rained out. Or did we get rained out? No, we didn't get rained out. But there Friday night it rained. Saturday it rained most of the day. And then Saturday night, or I guess not most of the day, in the morning. And then Saturday night there was a few pop-up showers, and I think we caught one up here at the field 2.5, 3 miles north of our farm that we didn't catch at home there. So I was curious if it's a little wetter here, and it is. It is. So we got some. So I don't think I'm going to start the irrigation up today. It might get fired up tomorrow. But I did get the seal kits for my injection pump, so I was thinking about taking that apart and rebuilding it. We are going to get back to wheat harvest today. Try and finish up down to Berkey, actually. So that will be good. But we got to wait until noon or so, let the wheat dry out a little bit more. I've got those seals here for this metering pump, injection pump. So we're going to go ahead and replace those and have this thing ready to go for tomorrow, probably. Shouldn't be too hard to do. Got the plunger taken out. I believe this part here is our problem. Here's the new one. They don't look a ton different, but that edge is definitely flared out a lot more on the new one. This pump is designed to work at a maximum pressure of 150 psi, which sounds like plenty. And for our application here, it is, because we're running about 120 pounds of pressure at the well here. So 150 works. However, this is the same pump we had been using with our hard hose Traveler, and it was probably closer to 180 to 200 psi when it was running before. So I think we really stressed it and probably wore some of that stuff out. So no big deal. That's what seal kits are for. Well, I brought all the right tools to disassemble that pump. Got it all taken apart. I do not, however, have the big flat screwdriver necessary to get that seal off of that shaft. So we'll take it back to the farm and do it there. Well, we got our seals changed. I changed a seal in here where the tube goes in. This goes in here, but I left the tube up at the field. Seals in the check valves and the plunger. We'll put her back together. Okay, that's all back together. So hopefully it pumps a little more consistently. There was a little leakage from it, not terrible, but we just weren't getting the rate on that we wanted to. So hopefully we've fixed that, and we'll use this up here relatively quickly. And then we need to get some nitrogen and some sulfur up here, because this corn's growing fast. It's going to be tasseling in another week or so. And while we've got a lot of nitrogen out here from our planter application and our side dress application, I did not put all that we're going to need, especially for high yield irrigated corn. So we got to put more on, and the intent is to do it through the rain here, through this fertigation system, and well, we just gotta make it happen. My intention is to do 2 applications of at least 5 gallons of 28 and 5 gallons of ATS.
What's that do for race teams?
Once again, Spotify, I hate it that it just starts playing when it connects to my Bluetooth, even when I'm recording on my camera. Anyway, yeah, 2 applications of 5 gallons of 28, 5 gallons of ATS in each one. I could up that to 10 gallons of 28, 5 gallons of ATS per acre if I feel like we need the extra nitrogen, which we might. We might, maybe for one of them, I don't know. We'll see. I would like at least the first one to be done before it tassels. So that means we got to get going on it. The second one can be between tassel and brown silk or early ear development stages, but we don't want to get too late. Otherwise, it's not going to have time to do us any good. All right, let's head to Berkey. We've got helper back here. I can't even see the car seats in the way. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Ryland's coming with us because all of his tractors are in the combine still, right? Yeah. And we got Brock. And hopefully we're going to finish and drive a bunch of equipment home tonight. That's the plan. We'll see how it goes. All right, we made it down here. Saw one guy combine on the way down, so that means we can go too. That's how this works around here. Anyway, I'm going to talk to Phil and we're going to head over to the field. All right, back where we finished. What day was that? Friday. Was it Friday? It was Friday. What? What's wrong? What'd you do with it? Well, you better go find it. The lid came off his cookies. Go give Brock one while you're at it. Anyway, we've got a 15 acres, 13 acres, something like that over there across the road over by that black truck. We're going to go do that. That is also getting spread and then could get planted to beans. The rest of this is already done except for these end rows here. This whole field's already been planted. So we're basically caught up to the combine with the double crop beans. And then once we get that field across the road done, we jump back over here and we do this on the other side of the woods here. That is getting windrowed and hopefully baled later today or tomorrow so that we can finish the beans there tomorrow. That's the goal. So we got to get everything set up here. We're going to dive in across the road. There's a fire hydrant that we got to watch out for. Other than that, I think we got our monitor set up. We'll have the combine running and ready to go. So we just pull in and go. I'm getting her opened up here. That number's good. 17.6 it says for moisture. So we'll see what the trucks say once we get stuff moving. But we should have a good day. Sun's out. It'll dry throughout the day. We might get the driest wheat we've harvested all year by the end of the day.
Daddy Baker,
we got to get to the end. She's full. It was real close, but we're going to make it. Wow, where's my grain cart? Oh, there he is. Good deal. We made it, Brylan.
but you hit the tree.
So what? Just the branches a little bit. We're good. Let's talk about our wheat here a little bit. Our wheat has been the best wheat we have ever raised this year. I mean, 122, 130, 127. It's just unbelievable the wheat yields that we are seeing. And this variety in particular, this is AgriPro SY100, and it has just been dominant so far this year. So I'm really excited to see what the field does on the other side of the woods over there, because that is the same variety. This is the variety that was in the first field that we combined this year, and that field was by far the best wheat that we've done, and this field is kind of matching it or close to it. Unfortunately, a lot more trees here, so it's not going to average quite as well, but you get these rounds in the middle, you get that 140s. It's like, that's not jumping to 140, that's consistent 140s. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how good this AgriPro wheat was. AgriPro is owned by GrowPro Genetics, and I would like to thank them for sponsoring this video. They produce high-quality, diverse genetics in the soft red winter wheat market. And we've had very, very good luck with our AgriPro branded wheat. This SY100 has just been the best wheat we've had for several years in a row now. We raise a fair bit of the SY547. 547 has been an excellent grain quality wheat. It's a little bit earlier. When we jumped from the 100 the first day, or the second day, I guess, when we finished that field into the 547, it was drier. It was about 5 points drier, so it's a much earlier maturing wheat. It's great for getting double crop beans planted on a normal year when we're not 2 weeks early. That's really, really helpful. So that one's been really good for us. I'm excited once we get back up to our Waldron farm. We've got another variety up there. It's a GP463, and that one has excellent disease tolerance. With all the rain that we had in April especially, and even into May, disease is more prevalent this year. And so while we did spray fungicides, having that genetic resistance should be a really big benefit for us, and I'm excited to see what the wheat back to Waldron does. But again, this SY100 from GrowPro Genetics and AgriPro has just been outstanding yield, and to see numbers like this on our yield monitor is just, it's hard to comprehend for us. We typically can grow good wheat, but good wheat for us is 100 bushel, and we're 25% better than that. I mean, this round, since the last time we unloaded, it says 125 average. That's just incredible. So I'm really, really happy with our AgriPro wheat, and again, thank you to GrowPro for sponsoring today's video.
Mama called.
All right, we are done with this field.
All
Like I
right,
said, it's
Bill
not-
is done with the field.
14 and a half acres harvested here, so dang good wheat. Unbelievable. I mean, field average is 112, 113. That's really, really good on its own, but take out that spot that was all wildlife damage and that spot, and it's far better than that. Ryland's gonna go ride with Brock so he can have fun with that, and we're gonna jump back across the road and pull into this last field. I think there's like 65 acres over there, about what we got left to do. So like I said though, this field here we are going to windrow. Probably the rest of our straw we are going to windrow, all the stuff at Waldron in here. So we need to make a couple of changes. Number one, we gotta lift our straw chopper. So we got a switch right here, pushes that up out of the way, and the straw will fall right down through that big hole rather than going through the chopper. The other thing we have to do is disengage the chopper. So there's a gearbox there. We'll get to that in just a second. Okay, just gonna look in here, make sure everything looks okay. It does. This is our chaffer. This is where the grain kind of falls down through, and then there's a sieve underneath, and air blows up through it, and everything that's not grain comes out the back. Everything that is grain goes down through. At least that's the idea. And then inside here, you gotta push this to the middle spot. That's neutral. There's a high speed, a low speed, and a neutral. All right, we're getting started here, and we are in fact leaving a windrow here. I'll show you in the video because that's the easiest place to look. Sometimes you gotta wonder, is it going through or are we coming out? You know, the reason that I say that is because one time about 20 years ago it wasn't, and we didn't catch it, and it plugged the combine up so tight we had to spend like 3 hours picking all the straw and stuff out that was packed in there. So now every time you're doing this, you're like, is stuff coming out the back? Because you don't want to do that again. But yeah, all is good. Dang good wheat. This first pass along the road here, you never know sometimes, but yeah, it's good. So we got to dig ourselves a little hole up here in the corner before we do these ends, because well, we're already 75% full. We are not going to make it down these end rows, and we got to get unloaded. So Brock's following in the cart back here. The guys doing the baling are working across the corner over here. Hopefully they finish that and come right here. That's the idea. I haven't talked to them today though. What'd you find, Brock? That is the third sign Brock has found in a field down here, and apparently somebody likes to take them off and throw them out into our fields. I don't know, but not this year, but over the last 2 or 3 years he's found that. He's found a stop ahead sign. He's found a bike path sign, I think. Yeah, so I'm sure he's excited. See this strip here with some down wheat? That's because of overlap from our sprayer. So we had to go along this woods here, and that sprayer pass and the sprayer pass that was over there are not 120 feet apart. So there was some overlap here, and when you put extra nitrogen on your wheat, it goes flat like this. And yeah, it kind of grows too much plant and it can't support itself, and then you get a little bit of wind and it goes down. It's a pretty good argument for me to buy a sprayer with ExactApply, more ability to do section control instead of just, I think there's 7 sections on our 120-foot boom now. You can get one that does individual nozzles. That would solve this problem. Is that a good enough reason to go buy a new sprayer? I don't know. I can make the argument though. Ryland's back. What's up? What? You want to tell me something but not on camera? Yeah, okay. boy, I tell you what, this AgriPro wheat is pretty darn impressive. That's a field average right there. 121. We're almost 15 acres into this field. That's the map. Like, the ends were bad. Everything else is green. It's just unbelievable. Look at that, 140. Unbelievable. That's Y100 AgriPro. Grain cart's full.
Grain cart's full.
We yeah, whatever. We switched sides of the truck, so he ended up with 2 full dumps in there. Plus, there might have been a little left from the last truck that he didn't get on it. I don't know. Whatever. It's full. It's gonna fill that truck up real fast. Dad made it down here with the 7520 and the John Deere mower. He's mowing around the outside of the wheat fields that we've already got combined. Don't know where he's going now, but whatever. It's fine.
He's mowing a wheat field?
He's mowing the edges of the wheat fields. Why are you being so silly? I gave him a can of pop, that's why. It's sugar. It's too much sugar. I think you're done. There he goes. Dad came for a ride. A couple rounds. He was letting the tractor cool down. And now they're going back to mow, and Ryland's going with him. Burn a little energy. All right, we've made it to the edge of the woods here, so we got to make another pass along the edge, do the rest of the end rows. What do we got done? 27 acres out of whatever's in this field. 65, 64, something like that. We're getting there. We're moving across the field here, up to 35 acres done. And I thought we should take a few minutes. Today would be a good day to go over some of the more detail-y type stuff that you get in my videos sometimes. So I was hoping I would get to spend a little bit of time in the air seeder planting some double crop beans, and we could talk about double crop beans and kind of what they are, when we plant them, why we plant them, and the economics behind them. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm probably not going to get that opportunity, so we're just going to have that discussion from the combine seat here. So, double crop beans. What are double crop beans? Well, essentially, they are soybeans that we plant after we harvest a wheat crop. So we've already harvested a crop in the wheat that we're doing right now, and then we plant a second crop within the same calendar year. And so we're getting 2 crops off of the same ground, the same fields, in 1 year, and get a little bonus harvest, if you will. So in our area, double crop beans are not super common. I mean, I'll say that we've done some every year for the last couple of years, or we did some last year. I think the year before we didn't do any. Before that we have. It just kind of depends on the year a little bit. It's not something that we do on every acre every year because we can and we have that opportunity. It's something that I usually try and do a field or 2, plant some early wheat to be able to get them done if possible, but it's not realistic to think we're going to get every acre planted. As you go south, the farther south you get, especially southern Ohio, and farther south from that, double crop beans are pretty much standard practice. They grow wheat, they plant beans, but they are also harvesting wheat the 20th of June, the 25th of June every year versus us, who it's typical we get started around July 4th. And so that's why that 2-week window there can make a huge difference in whether the double crop beans are going to make it, are going to yield anything, or not. So we've talked a lot on this channel about early planting soybeans. In fact, we planted soybeans in March, right? It doesn't get much earlier than that. And so there are huge advantages to getting the soybeans planted early. Now, March is pushing it, but anytime in April through the first week of May is ideal for planting soybeans. The later we get, the less time they have to soak up sunlight, the less time they have to grow vegetatively, to put nodes on, to set pods, flowers, all of that kind of stuff, and the lower our yield potential gets. The later we get, the faster that yield potential declines, right? You get to 1st of May, the 10th of May, and you start tailing off sort of slowly, and then you get to the 1st of June, and it's a little bit faster. Well, by the time you get to the 25th of June, the 1st of July especially, that yield curve is dropping like a rock. And so on a typical year, I would not plant double crop beans after, say, July 10th. Now, I'll say July 10th. I would probably plant till the 12th if we were already planting and I was trying to finish up a field or get another one in or something like that. But if we have a late wheat harvest where we don't start harvesting wheat
July 8th, 9th, 10th, I'm probably not even going to try any double crop.
Anyway, sorry, I got a phone call at the end of that clip, but we're probably not going to try planting double crop beans after, late harvest like that. This year happens to be an extremely early harvest. There you go. And we started in June. And so now we were able to get double crop beans planted here in June, which is unusual for us and offers more yield potential because we've got them planted earlier. So where we would typically say maybe we're going to get 30 bushel double crops, that'd be awesome. That'd be a great year if we had 30 plus bushel double crops. Now 40 bushel double crop soybeans is a very realistic possibility. And if we have good weather, it's possible they could do even better than that, which would be amazing. Now, even before we knew that it was going to be a very early harvest here, we had intentions of planting these double crop beans on our farm here at Berkey for a very specific reason. And we're going to go through this. It's going to get a little bit long. But basically, we hadn't grown wheat here for several years. Decided we wanted to get wheat back down to Berkey and rotate these farms through wheat for soil health purposes, basically get an extra crop rotation in here and stuff. But I kind of made the argument of, if we're going to do it, let's do it, and let's not do 50 acres or 100 acres at a time. Let's do half of it one year, half of it the next year. So last year we had all beans and wheat down here. This year it is all wheat and corn, but we're going to double crop these beans. Now, one of the unusual things about Ohio, or at least in my opinion, it's kind of unusual, is that we have crop insurance, right? We have federally, the federal crop insurance program that we can insure our corn, our soybeans, and our wheat crop through, and they kind of guarantee us based on our production history and the pricing of the grain markets, average price set in February versus fall harvest price. And anyway, we can get into the whole crop insurance discussion another time. But one of the peculiarities with that in the state of Ohio is that there are certain counties where if you raise double crop beans and you buy crop insurance, you are forced to buy the crop insurance for your double crop soybeans. And most of those counties are like south of Columbus, where it's more standard practice. However, there are also the ring of counties around Lake Erie here in northern Ohio that also fall into that category, that if you buy crop insurance and you are in this county, which happens to be Lucas County, buying crop insurance on your double crop soybeans is not optional like it is in Williams County, the county we farm in back up by Waldron in Ohio. So we have to buy the crop insurance on these beans in Ohio, in Berkey here. Now, normally I would say that's not good. We don't want to do that. Why would I want to buy double crop bean insurance? The name of the game is to keep your coverage or your cost as low as possible. But then I sort of was talking to the agent and I said, all right, I'll bite. What's the coverage guarantee here? And they said, well, we'll base it off of historical yields for double crop beans. And I said, okay. Well, we haven't raised any wheat down there in a number of years. We haven't had double crop beans, I don't think, since maybe 2012, which was 12 years ago. So I'm not entirely sure how that connects to, how they use that, because it's over 10 years old. Usually the yields are only used for 10 years. But whatever, that's beside the point. So I started looking it up, and back in 2012, we had double crop beans, and we only had it on like 100 acres. The one field, bigger field, went in the 40s. I don't remember exactly what it was. And then we had another field that was in the teens, planting date. Anyway, it averaged out to like 36, just based on the number of acres or something. And so they basically told me, yeah, we'll guarantee you, that 36 bushel per acre would be your production history then. Otherwise, they would go by a county average, which I have no idea what that is. And I need to verify some of these numbers with our agent, make sure that they're actually what they are. And then I said, okay, so you're telling me you're going to guarantee me 36 bushel or whatever it is, double crop beans times the spring crop insurance price, which I don't remember what that is either, $11, $12, somewhere in that ballpark. And then we buy certain coverage levels and stuff, and we typically buy like an 80% coverage. So basically you take those two numbers, you multiply them together, times that by 0.8 for 80%, and that gives you your crop insurance revenue guarantee. And so you're going to guarantee me that on double crop beans? They basically said yes. Well, there's another component to this. So while it is true that we can guarantee that on our double crop beans, the double crop policy, while it stands alone, it is tied to your first crop soybeans. So soybeans that are planted in the spring, and essentially you would have to, if you have really very good first crop beans like we did here last year, and then you had terrible double crop, the chances are the first crop beans are going to cancel out the double crop loss, and so you would almost have to have a claim on both first crop and double crop. They basically are going to average them together, and you have to be below the guarantee for both before it would pay out. That's why they make people buy the double crop bean policy in counties where it's standard practice. People do it a lot. Anyway, I saw that or heard that, and I'm like, well, I don't want to buy double crop beans. And so for a while there, we were not going to plant any double crop beans here because I'm like, well, I don't want to pay the crop insurance bill on it. I'm never going to get anything out of this policy. It's total waste of money. And then I realized I don't have any first crop beans. We're all corn and wheat here this year. And so we're kind of in a very unique situation where I can buy a double crop soybean crop insurance policy that stands alone by itself, and they're going to guarantee me 80% of 36 bushel yield, which doesn't sound like a great yield. It is not. But for double crops, it is. I essentially have zero risk here because and then you take that 80%, like 27 or 28 bushels the acre is essentially the floor. It is the absolute worst that I can do. It doesn't matter if these beans that we plant yield 30 bushel or 10 bushel. Crop insurance is going to bring that 10 up to 27 or 28 by the time we we multiply out and do all of the math, and I cannot lose, which is it's a discussion for another day on whether that's right or not with the crop insurance. I can't believe they would do this, but that's why we're planting every acre down here. It makes sense for us to plant them, do every acre that we can possibly plant because we have a guarantee that's going to pay. So let's talk about the economics side on double crops a little bit and what it costs us to plant the crop versus harvest the crop and stuff. Here, I'll let you look at the combine for a little bit instead of me for the next 5 minutes. So double crop beans, they do cost us some money to plant, right? But let's add it up. So we've got, the first thing we obviously have to do is plant the beans. And so we've got seed costs, and we do get a little discount on double crop bean prices, but we also treated our beans this year, so they cost a little bit more. But again, it's part of that I can't lose thing. Like, that's why we treated them. Well, that's part of the reason why we treated them. I can afford to spend the money because I can guarantee that I'm going to at least get it back. And last year, the treated beans paid in double crop, even planted really late. So it made sense for me to do that. But, so essentially we've got some seed costs. Let's call it, let me get a calculator out here. Let's do a little math. Double crop bean price. Well, we're planting a little bit thick. We're planting like 1.5 units per acre. And I want to say that our cost per acre or cost per unit is right around $50 for the double crop beans. And I could be off a little bit, but we're going to say it's about that. 50 times 1.5 means we have $75 into the seed costs for our double crop beans, okay? It is not free to run that air seeder and the tractor across these fields, but it's not super expensive. We'll use custom type rates, which are way more than what our actual costs are, but we'll use them. We'll say it's $15 an acre. So we've got $75 an acre into the seed. We're going to add 15 to that for the drill pass. So now we're up to 90. Okay. Now, outside of that, we're going to have to harvest those beans. It is also not free to run this combine. We'll use a relatively high number for cost of running the combine. And we'll say running double crop beans, you're running a bean head, they're going to go fairly quick. We'll say with trucking and everything else involved, we're going to have $40 an acre. That's high. We don't actually cost that much, but we're going to say that. So, what happened? 40 plus 90. So now we're up to $130 an acre into our cost. Now, we are going to have to spray these fields with some glyphosate to control the weeds, namely the volunteer wheat. You'll notice these fields are extremely clean. We have no weeds down here at all. That's because we sprayed them last fall with some really good herbicide for wheat that worked outstanding. Like that was a great thing that we did. But we did it in the fall because it negates the plant back restriction to soybeans. Some of the herbicides that you spray on wheat in the spring, you can't plant beans for like 6 months, or maybe it's 4 months or whatever, but it's too tight with double crop beans, so we sprayed it last fall. So now we don't have that problem. Anyway, so we are going to spray this with glyphosate. However, we're going to spray this with glyphosate whether we plant double crop beans out here or not, because the volunteer wheat that's under these windrows or spread in the rest of the fields, it's going to grow. It's going to get rained on. It's going to germinate. It's going to grow. We're going to have to spray them. So that's not really an additional cost to double crop beans. That's a cost that we're going to have regardless. So I don't count a herbicide cost in the double crop bean calculation. Now you also have rent, right? Or a land cost of some sort. Some of this ground down here we own, some of it we lease. But we already covered that cost with the wheat crop. That's not an additional cost to plant with double crop beans. We pay it whether we plant the double crop beans or not. So that's not a variable cost of double crop beans. Okay? Now, you could make an argument that the double crop beans are going to pull some nutrients out of the ground, some fertility, so that we will have to replace that. That is true. However, we are probably not really going to factor that into anything. The amount of nutrients that we're going to pull off with double crop beans is not significant enough to make us really adjust our fertility plan. Like, we're going to spread fertilizer on this field, all of these fields, ahead of next year's corn crop based on the current soil test that will be taken right after this wheat is harvested, regardless of whether we put double crop beans here or not. Is it going to cost us a couple bucks an acre more if we take double crop beans? Honestly, probably not. Maybe it should, but we're not going to figure anything in there. And even if you did put another 20 bucks an acre, even 50, it doesn't change the equation here. So here we are, left with $130 an acre in variable costs, and that really is about it. I could think about spraying some fungicide on these beans, but I can do that for less than $10 an acre, even factoring in the sprayer cost. I have some very cheap fungicides that they might be worth it, and we're still looking at less than $150 to plant them. That's pretty darn cheap. Oh, I did forget one thing. We're in Lucas County, Ohio. We have to buy crop insurance on these beans, so we do have to pay for that policy. So, yeah, we are going to have that cost, and I can't remember exactly what it cost. It's not super expensive. I want to say somewhere around $15 an acre. So let's go to 150. Let's just say we're at 150 in actual costs to plant double crop beans here. All right, so now let's look at the income side of it. We're at 150 in costs, and let's just say, because we're planting double crop beans in June, they've got all kinds of potential. Let's say we average 40. It's a really good double crop year, and we get 40 bushel double crop beans. Well, the current cash bid in Maumee, Ohio, for soybeans for last half of September, October, and November is $10.51. We're just going to use that price because I could sell them today if I wanted to. $10.51. So $10.51 times 40 is $420.40 per acre of additional income. Now let's take our 150 off of that, our costs. That leaves us with a profit of $270 per acre on double crop beans. $270 an acre is a lot of profit. That's probably more profit than we make in the wheat crop. In fact, I would almost guarantee it is. That's why we do it. That's why we're planting them. Now let's not say they're 40 bushel. Let's say they're 10.51. I don't know why you can't see that. I'm sorry. Let's just say they're 25 bushel. That's 262. We're still netting $110 an acre. And we've got that crop insurance guarantee that basically says we aren't going to make any less than that. So I'm almost guaranteed $150 an acre of income on every acre of double crop beans that I've got here, if not more. And the potential for more is significant. That's why we're doing this. It's kind of a no-brainer in my mind. Now, you might ask, well, why don't you plant all the double crop beans back up at Waldron and the rest of your ground? We got another 160 acres up there that we could do. Well, the economics are different up there for several reasons. One, our planting date is getting later. Are we still well ahead of the July 10th? Yes. And we could plant some, and we might plant some. But the yield potential is dropping. The likelihood of 40 is a lot lower than the likelihood of 30 at this point. So that changes that equation. And then you've got the fact that the crop insurance isn't the same up there. We could choose to buy a double crop bean insurance policy up there, I believe. But remember what I said about them pairing it with your first crop beans? Yeah, we've got a lot of first crop beans up there that would basically eliminate that potential guarantee, because if those beans are good and they're not a total failure, it will cancel out a total failure of our double crop beans. And so it doesn't make sense. It's not worth it there. We don't have that guarantee behind us to make this as potentially profitable as it is here in Berkey. And I guess I haven't explained it, but crop insurance policies are basically separate by county. So every county has its own policy. So we're in a separate county here in Lucas County, Ohio, than our Hillsdale County, Michigan, or Williams County, Ohio stuff back up to Waldron. And so we essentially have three separate crop insurance policies that do not affect each other. They all have to be segregated and done separately. So hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about it, feel free to leave them in the comments section. I'm sure I missed something in my explanations. But that's why we're planting all these double crop beans. It just makes sense to do so. And I'm not ruling it out up to Waldron. We've got some beans around. We could do it. We are going to have the guys bale all the straw up there, so I'm hoping that they'll get to at least some of it pretty quickly. It is unrealistic for me to think that they're going to get it all baled within 2 or 3 days, and I don't want to put that pressure on them anyway. That's also why I was a little hesitant to have them plant this stuff down here, or to bale this stuff down here, because frankly, I need to get these beans planted. 40 bushel double crop is better than a crop insurance guarantee. And it is not individual fields down here, right? It is based on the cumulative. So if this one field that will be the last planted, because they're baling straw and everything else, is a total failure and they only go 15 bushel, but everything else goes 40, well, it's whatever the average is on the whole county here, our fields in the county. It's not individual fields. So it's not like I'll get paid for this one field when all the other ones do really well. So they all need to do well. It is what it is. So I'm hoping these guys get over here and start baling real soon. I don't know where the balers went. I'm a little nervous because they're not in the field across the road anymore. Well, they need to be here because I got to get these beans planted tomorrow. That's the plan. We're gonna make it. Not quite the last round. We're gonna have a sliver left here that's we can't get in the next pass, but we've made it to the other side of the field. Balers didn't come here. Dang it. Oh well. We'll get this finished up and see what we can get moved home tonight. What time is it? 7:15. So I probably could drive a combine home tonight. I don't know if I want to drive a combine home tonight, but we'll make a plan when we're done here. Last little sliver here. we've got the wheat in Berkey done. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Now we do have 15 acres of beans we could plant tonight. Might plant tonight. I don't know, we'll see. Dad's sitting down here with Rylan in the header cart. So we'll go get the head dropped and talk to everybody and make a plan. We'll have to verify with the grain cart, but the combine says this field went 121. That is dang good wheat. Dang good wheat. Alright, well, we got the head off. Dad and Rylan are taking that home to Waldron. And Brock's going to go get my truck. It's over by the woods over there. I'm going to take this truck back to our farm over there. And then we're going to make a plan. I think Brock might finish planting the beans that we can. And I might run the combine home tonight. Alright, well, we got the trucks back home. Phil's hauling a load into the elevator tonight and then going to bring one of the semis back. Dad left with the head. Brock is going to go finish planting the beans that he can. We've got about, I don't know, 16 to 18 acres worth of beans, that first field that we did today and the end rows from the field last week that can be planted. The rest of this, we got to wait for the straw to get baled, which they better do tomorrow. If they don't do it tomorrow, I'm going to be a little upset. But then he's going to bring my pickup home. We'll come down in the morning and get the grain cart and another truck, and what else do we got to get? Oh, the fuel trailer is down here, so that should work. We're going to take the combine home right now. It'll take us a little while. It is about 8 o'clock. We should be home by, I don't know, 9:30 or so. Let's go. We made it. It's about 9:30. What time did we leave? 8? Hour and a half. That's about right. So, I should go home. It's 9:30. But before we go home, we're going to go up and start up the irrigation. Because, well, it dried today. I want to get it running. I want to keep getting fertilizer put on. We're not putting we're basically putting as little on as we can. So we're moving it fast. It's more important right now to get the fertilizer on than the water. And so we need it running in order to do that. So I'm going to run up there and we're going to get it started and let it run tonight and tomorrow. And until it rains again on Thursday, maybe? Wednesday? Thursday they were calling for rain. So we'll see. We'll get over a good chunk of the field between now and then if we can keep it running. So let's go start it up. Brock is not back with my truck yet anyway, so we'll take the Chevy. That's fine. While we're on our way up there, I will mention that if you need yourself some Borderview Farms merchandise, head on over to farmfocus.com. Today is July 1st, and it's the first day of their annual 4th of July fundraiser. This year, they are raising money to support the 50-mile march that I talked about a couple weeks ago on this channel. I will put a link in the description, but Morgan, who is Ben's wife and the owners of Farm Focused, is doing this 50-mile march. It supports veterans, homelessness, and mental health awareness, mostly out there in Nebraska in the Omaha area, but I think it's a very worthy, good cause, and I would encourage you to go buy some stuff from Farm Focused. Every t-shirt that is sold, they are donating $5 to the 50-mile march from any participating brands. Borderview Farms is one of them. Most of them are, from what I saw. So you guys can go and check that out. If you already have got your Borderview Farms merch and it's something that you would like to donate to and support, I will throw the link in the description for the donation site for Morgan. Basically, they're doing a march from Lincoln to Omaha. It's 50 miles. It sounds like, you know, all weather conditions, whatever, they're doing it, and so Morgan's participating in that. They did a podcast on it, Common Folk Podcast. You can go check out for more information. Oil's good. Fire up the generator. Flip the breaker. Get my other phone fired up. Stand up on the truck so you can see. Oh, sorry, zoomed way too far in. There we go. Standing up here. It's way out there. I heard it beep. It started. And we should see it start to move. here shortly. It says it's running. It's in the center lane right now, so it's got to make a turn before it's going to turn the pump on. Oh yeah, she's moving. There it goes. Ah, it's so cool. Once we get power from that pole right there, I won't even have to come up here. You just push the button and it'll just do it. Check it from the camera. That's so cool. All right, I'm gonna hang out here just to make sure the well starts up and the injection pump isn't leaking everywhere, since we were working on that this morning. So thanks you guys for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, especially about the double crop stuff, feel free to let me know. Leave them down in the comment section. We'll be back at wheat harvest tomorrow. We've got 160 acres left. We should be able to get it done in 2 days. That's the goal. So hopefully have a big day tomorrow. We got to head back to Berkey in the morning and get our trucks and what else we got down there? Fuel trailer. Oh, the grain cart. The grain cart's down there yet. So we'll get that stuff moved back in the morning, and then hopefully by 11 or noon or so, we're getting started combining wheat. We're going to start right across the road from the farm, and we'll see if the wheat here is as good as the wheat at Berkey was. But man, has it been good so far. So have a great night. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning.